got so much fucking design on right now.
After the rumors, Rowoon defends parkeunbin publicly. Fans applaud his loyalty. What if I told you that after weeks of silence, after the whispers, the speculation, and the viral clips that tore their friendship apart, Rowoon finally spoke? And not in a quiet interview, not in a passing comment, but in front of cameras, reporters, and millions of fans. Because this time, he wasn't protecting his image. He was protecting her. This is the story of the moment Rowoon broke his silence. And why the entire internet called it the most genuine act of loyalty in the Korean entertainment industry this year. Hold on tight, K-drama family. The world of your favorite celebrities is unfolding before your eyes, and every moment is more breathtaking than the last. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now, because trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. The question that started it all began at a live fan event, Rowoon's first major public appearance since the controversy. He looked calm, collected, dressed in a simple black suit. But you could see it in his eyes, that flicker of tension that only comes from being haunted by rumors you can't escape. Then it happened. A reporter stood up and asked the question everyone else was too afraid to say aloud. There have been stories recently about your relationship with Parkun. Would you like to comment? The room fell silent. The sound of camera shutters slowed. For a moment, it felt like time itself was holding its breath. And then, Rowoon spoke. Stop talking about her that way. His voice didn't tremble. It didn't break. It carried a calm, controlled power that cut through the silence. Parkun, he said, is one of the most hardworking, honest, and compassionate people I have ever known. She deserves respect, not rumors. We worked together, we shared a story that meant something to people, and that's all that should matter. He paused. Looked up. And added, with unmistakable sincerity, please stop talking about her that way. She doesn't deserve it. The room erupted in applause. Even the reporters, the same ones who had fed the headlines, lowered their cameras. Because in that moment, Rowoon wasn't just an actor defending a co-star. He was a man taking a stand against an industry's obsession with gossip. Social media erupts within minutes, clips of Rowoon's response spread across every major platform. Fans flooded Twitter and TikTok with the same phrase, "This is what loyalty looks like." One viral post read, "He didn't just defend her, he honored her. This is the Rowoon we always believed in." Another wrote, that tone in his voice wasn't scripted. It was pain and pride. By nightfall, hashtags dominated trending lists worldwide. Hashtag Rowoon defends Eunbin, hashtag respect for Parkun, hashtag loyalty has a name. Even fellow celebrities quietly liked and reposted the clip, a rare gesture of solidarity in an industry that often rewards silence. Parkun response for days, Parkun said nothing. She continued filming, smiling through events, showing no sign of the emotional chaos swirling online. But then, late one evening, she posted on her official account, a single photo of the sky at sunset, captioned simply, "Some people bring light, even when the world feels dark." Fans immediately connected the dots. It wasn't just gratitude. It was her way of saying thank you, Rowoon. Insiders reveal behind the scenes. A source from the Extraordinary You production team later told reporters, he didn't need to speak up. No one expected him to. But he's been worried about her ever since the rumors started. He said it wasn't fair, that she was being judged for something that didn't even happen. Another insider revealed, when the interview question came up, everyone thought he'd avoid it. But he decided on the spot to speak from his heart. There was no PR strategy, that was real emotion. And that's what made it powerful. It wasn't planned. It wasn't rehearsed. It was truth. Why fans are calling it the moment of the year? Because in a world where celebrities often hide behind agency statements and generic denials, Rowoon did something rare. He spoke like a human being. He didn't discredit anyone. He didn't shift blame. He simply reminded everyone that Parkun, his former co-star, his friend, deserved dignity. Fans wrote messages like, We watched him fall for her on-screen. Now we're watching him protect her off-screen. And perhaps that's why the clip resonated so deeply, because it wasn't just about rumors. It was about respect. The shift in public opinion almost overnight, the tone of the media changed. Entertainment sites that once fueled gossip now published editorials praising Rowoon's maturity and courage. Comment sections turned supportive, he handled it like a true gentleman. Parkun is lucky to have someone like him in her corner. That's not a PR move, that's loyalty. Even netizens who had previously criticized their dynamic began retracting earlier posts. Because now, there was a new story, not of scandal, but of solidarity. The private meeting days later, multiple outlets reported that Parkun and Rowoon had met privately, away from cameras, for the first time since the controversy. It wasn't a romantic meeting, it was closure. According to one industry insider, they met to talk, to make peace. Rouwan thanked him for speaking up, and he told her that he would always protect her name, no matter what. And then, in a quiet gesture that fans will never forget, Rowoon allegedly bowed deeply before leaving, a symbol of humility and respect in Korean culture. The final scene weeks later, Rowoon attended another event. As he walked the red carpet, fans shouted both of their names, Rowoon. Bin. We love you. He smiled softly, and though he didn't say anything, the look in his eyes said it all. He had turned the narrative upside down. He had taken gossip and replaced it with grace. And in doing so, he reminded everyone watching that integrity still exists, even in the spotlight. The night of the speech, it was the Seoul Drama Excellence Awards. Cameras flashed, fans screamed, and stars shimmered in glittering gowns and tuxedos. But when Parkun walked onto that stage to accept her Actress of the Year trophy, the energy shifted. She looked radiant, but there was something different in her eyes, softer, deeper, filled with quiet courage. She took a breath, held the microphone, and began to speak. At first, it was the usual words, gratitude to her fans, her directors, her staff. But then, she paused. The audience could feel it coming, that change in tone. That moment when the mask slips, and the real emotion begins to rise. There was someone who protected me when I couldn't protect myself. Her voice trembled slightly, but her words were clear. In this industry, people talk. They say things, sometimes true, sometimes not. But what matters most is the people who stand by you when you can't even speak for yourself. She looked down for a moment, gathering strength. Then she lifted her eyes toward the crowd, and said it. There was someone who protected me when I couldn't protect myself. Someone who spoke with honesty, not for attention, but from his heart. The room fell silent. You could almost hear the collective gasp ripple across the audience. Everyone knew exactly who she meant. I'm grateful, she continued softly. Not just for his words, but for his kindness. Sometimes loyalty is quiet, but it never goes unnoticed. The crowd reacts. The camera cut to Rowoon, sitting in the front row. He wasn't smiling. He was fighting back tears. He looked down, pressed his lips together, that small, familiar gesture fans had seen 1,000 times before, and nodded. It was respect. It was closure. It was connection. And when Parkun finished her speech, the entire hall stood up. A standing ovation that lasted nearly a full minute. Not for the award, but for that moment of truth. Applaud months have passed since that night. New dramas have premiered, new stories have taken over the headlines. But every now and then, someone brings it up again, the night Parkun finally spoke, and the way Rowoon's eyes filled with tears as she did. It has become more than a moment in pop culture. It has become a memory. A symbol. Because in that instant, the entire world saw something rare, not romance, not rumor, but real humanity. And as one fan perfectly wrote beneath a viral clip, they taught us that loyalty isn't about love, it's about respect. And that's even stronger.